I feel like the bottom has to fall out at some point. And by the way, I'm hoping for it because I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. Yeah. So please bring on the recession.
Yeah. Recently, Bill Maher on an episode of Real Time with Bill Maher exposed how leftists truly think. And it was very, very stunning. It was shocking. It was dark. The fact that he actually admitted it. It's something that we all thought that he could possibly, and that all leftists could possibly be thinking. But he just came out and straight up admitted it. And that was that abortion is murder, is killing. But he just doesn't care. And he just won't miss the innocent children that are being killed and murdered. He doesn't care about that. And it's just a wild thing to admit, so much so that his woke audience members were absolutely stunned. They weren't clapping. They weren't cheering. They were just absolutely silent. His guest, his panel members, Piers Morgan and the other lady, were so shocked. And now we have this video here from Mark Dice exposing another thing that Bill Maher said that straight up exposes what Democrats truly want. And Mark Dice absolutely shreds Bill Maher here and just picks this statement apart. So let's check out this video here from Mark Dice titled, Bill Maher Admits What Democrats Really Want. Let's check this out.
I'll play the clip in just a moment. Comedian Bill Maher just publicly admitted on his HBO show what most establishment insiders are privately hoping and probably planning for the not-so-distant future.
Can I ask about the economy? Because this economy is going.
By the way, this clip is from 5 years ago or plus. This was before the 2020, the pandemic. This was while Trump was still in office. And I want you to watch this closely. It goes very well with the other clip that I talked about that I did a video on yesterday with Bill Maher admitting that abortion is murder, abortion is killing, but he just doesn't care. This exposes what Democrats and what leftists truly want. And it's a great job by Mark Dice breaking this down.
Going pretty well. I feel like the bottom has to fall out at some point. And by the way, I'm hoping for it because I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. Yeah. So please bring on the recession. Yeah. Sorry if that hurts people, but it's either root for a recession or you lose your democracy.
Trump is doing everything you could possibly do to screw up the good economy. It's like everything's going great. Yes. And this is the great thing. You watch Trump's rhetoric.
This is something that I always say. These people do not care about making the country a better place. These people do not care about morals or principles. They don't have any values. All they care about is their side winning. Bill Maher is literally saying, I don't care what has to be done. Ruin the country, crash the economy. All I care about is my side winning, the woke side winning. And it just goes perfectly with everything that I've been saying and everything that Bill Maher and Whoopi Goldberg and these elite leftists, these woke lunatics have been saying recently. It just exposes how they truly think.
He literally wasn't joking, because most liberals hate President Trump so bad that they're willing to sacrifice our economy and our entire country in hopes of trying to get rid of him. And I wouldn't be surprised if the banking cartels are actively planning some sort of an economic collapse to pull the pin on in the next 2 years as the 2020 election is approaching in order to blame it on President Trump. Did you hear this moron panelist say that President Trump is trying to do everything that he can to ruin the American economy? Well, he's doing a terrible job then if this plan is to ruin it. This moron works for MSNBC, and he's the guy who thinks that Paul Ryan is also a secret Russian agent.
If you enjoy content like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
I've said this now multiple times this week, and I'll say it again. It has clarified the extent to which Paul Ryan is now no longer on Team USA or on even Team Old Republican Party. He's on Team Nunes, which means he's on Team Trump, which means to some extent they're advancing in some sense the interests of Russia. This is that
is the dumbest thing that I've heard today. So Bill Maher wants the entire U.S. economy to fail in hopes of preventing President Trump from getting reelected again in 2020. And as you probably know, President Trump's meeting with Kim Jong-un tomorrow in the historic summit in Singapore. And of course, the Democrats want him to fail at helping to broker peace in that region also.
And it's so crazy looking back on this, because like I said, this clip is almost 6 years old, and it really does expose the left and Bill Maher and the entirety of the woke cult. And, you know, like I said, once again, Mark Dice does a great job. But looking back on this, I mean, look at the current state of the country and the globe. Look how much war there is across the entire planet Earth. Look how much, you know, division there is within our own country. Look how poor the economy is within our own country. And looking back on this, it's like, no wonder why the leftists, why Bill Maher isn't freaking out. This is what they wanted the whole time. They wanted all this war. They wanted all this, you know, division. They wanted the economy to be terrible because all they care about is, well, Biden's in office, so we won. That's all they care about. They don't care about the country actually being a good place.
So here's Rosie O'Donnell.
I find myself genuinely rooting for him to handle the North Korea situation well. I mean, there's all sorts of areas where you are rooting for the man to be competent and effective.
I don't know if I agree with that, because it's like rooting.
You're not rooting for him to
Well,
resolve
it's like
Korea
rooting.
well?
It's like rooting for a 6-year-old who suddenly swiped dad's car and figured out how to take it down the road. I'm not rooting for the 6-year-old to get on the highway and drive that car. I want the 6-year-old off the highway.
This anthropomorphic bucket of lard hates President Trump so bad he can't even wish him luck on the North Korea situation. Bill Maher surrounds himself with such political geniuses that one of his other panelists was CNN's Fareed Zakaria, who you may recall had this incredible prediction about Donald Trump when he was running for president.
So Donald Trump will lose, and he will then destroy the Republican Party. The frightening question is what he will do to the country in the process.
He's gonna make America great again. That's what he's gonna do, you idiot. Nancy Pelosi is so out of touch with the average American that she was just asked about the historically low unemployment rate in the country today, and she said that people don't care about that. I don't want to paraphrase you, but what was it you said the average American thinks about the record low unemployment rate, Skeletor?
Hip hip hooray, unemployment is down. What does that mean to me in my life? I need a bigger paycheck. And that's the apprehension that American families have had for a while.
The audio is not the greatest on that clip, but you did hear her correctly. She said hip hip hooray.
And it's crazy because now that's something that the leftists are leaning on, like unemployment is down, or there's more jobs created than ever, and all this other stuff. And then whenever Trump is doing the same things, it's hip hip hooray, the unemployment is down. It's so crazy how blatant these leftists are. This is such a great video to look back on and just, in hindsight, be able to look at these things that was going on. Because I think a lot of us forget, especially me, I forget, things that were happening 6 years ago. And it's crazy to look back on in hindsight and how great everything was 6 years ago in comparison to what it is now, man.
What does record low unemployment mean for me and my family? She said, speaking of the average American. Meanwhile, the Hollywood elitists had another award show last night, the Tonys, which is sort of like the Oscars, but for Broadway plays. And it was broadcast on CBS, the crap broadcasting station, very fitting. And they gave a standing ovation to the old geezer, grandpa, wannabe gangster, Robert De Niro, because when he came out to present an award, he said, F President Trump.
6 years ago, they were doing this. And still to this day, while he hasn't been president for 3+ years, they're still getting on stage. I think it was Robert De Niro, too, that got on stage at these award shows that have nothing to do with Donald Trump. And still talking about Donald Trump. Still saying there's mean tweets or mean truth socials or whatever it's called nowadays. And they're still getting applause. And their ratings depend on them talking about Donald Trump. If Bill Maher doesn't talk about Trump or doesn't, talk about these woke talking points, his ratings go down. Nobody watches. Same thing with these Tonys and these other nonsense award shows.
Oh, you tough guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robert De Niro.
Listen to them. They're just going nuts. Yeah, you're so brave. That'll get him impeached. Yeah. Look at these morons.
These people are so pathetic, man. It's literally a cult. And instead of it being a cult that follows a leader, it's a cult that's formed around hating someone on the other side. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen someone own so much real estate in these people's head, like in a group of people's heads that hate them so much that they're willing to literally run an entire country into the ground on purpose just so that guy loses. It's crazy. They would rather go back to the Stone Age than see Donald Trump win. They would rather not have internet, phone, like they're willing to lose it all just so that Donald Trump doesn't win. Just so that their side wins. That's literally all they care about. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about that clip from Bill Maher. I think it really does expose what Democrats and leftists and woke cultists truly want. And he's still doing that to this day on Real Time with Bill Maher. He's still letting the truth be known, or as the leftists like to say, saying the quiet part out loud. I also think Mark Dice did an absolutely great job on this video, as he continues to do, you know, in the present day. So if you haven't seen his videos somehow, go check out Mark Dice. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope to see you guys on the next one.